Welcome back. We are here at Brilliance Computer Technologies once again with Mark, and in this Ask a Pro segment, we're going to be talking about laptops. It's back to school, time to write some papers, time to do some work. So we're going to talk about some of the best options and things that are out there. So my first question would be, can you get away with using a tablet for school, do you think, or would you recommend actually going for the laptop?
I'd have to say you really do need a laptop.
Yeah.
The problem with a tablet is you can't type conveniently on it. You're back to like two-finger hunt and peck. They're big. They're not all that much smaller than a laptop, but the screen is exposed. Mm-hmm. So you still have to put them in something. So they're not a huge space-saving device. They are what they've always been. They're more or less a toy.
Right. So we're going with the laptop. What are some of the top few things you would recommend to look for in a laptop, specifically for education purposes?
Even with the biggest thing with anything to do with education is laptops have kind of changed a number of times over the years. They went from small to big to really big, and then people realized that they're just too annoying to carry around, and they've all gone small again. If it's a big laptop and you want a big laptop, that's fine. But keep in mind that if you're actually going to move it around, if you're going to take it to class with you, you got to carry this thing all over the place.
Right.
And that's annoying. And if it's big, you're plunking it in and out of your bag. You have to set it up. It takes all the space up in front of you. Smaller the better, really, for stuff like that, because it's just not going to be as annoying. You already got a bag full of books.
Yeah, lots of heavy things to lug around for sure.
The lighter the better.
Now, let's say you are also a gamer. Is there certain laptops that would be acceptable to not only serve the lighter purpose and be good for school and transportability, but also be good for gaming?
Absolutely.
It's like, well...
Yes, there is, but kind of no. If you're going to seriously game on a laptop, you can certainly do it. But there's two factors to consider. Most gaming laptops are quite expensive. They're not expensive, I guess, compared to what you'd pay for a MacBook, but you're looking usually at $1,200 to $1,800 for a laptop, as opposed to a standard laptop that you can buy for $300 to $500.
Right.
They also tend to be huge. They're very, very heavy. They use a lot of power. They have to have a lot of cooling. So it's a big, bulky thing with a big, bulky power supply that you have to carry around with you. So if you are going to game, that's one thing, but you're probably not going to want to move it around a whole lot. And the only current exception to that is Razer makes a model called the Blade. Okay. And it's actually about the size of a standard laptop. It's about the size, and it looks suspiciously like a MacBook Pro. But they're very, very, very fast.
Okay.
Downside is they're also very, very expensive. They're about $2,000 to $2,500 depending on options.
Oh, wow. So if you want to really game while you're at school, you're either going to make an investment or you're going to have some back issues.
Yeah. And the other thing too, of course, is if you're buying a $2,000 laptop or a $2,500 laptop, you better watch it, because somebody else is going to go, wow, that's a really nice machine.
That looks pretty inexpensive.
And laptops, by their definition, are portable, which means they're extremely stealable.
Right. Good to know. Be very careful with what you've got, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about some accessories, because I know that I have always been curious about some of the different things that are available for laptops and whether or not they are necessary. So the first thing I would ask about is those cooling pads. You see them all over the place. You can plug them in. Does that actually work? And would you recommend them?
It does. They're generally not needed.
Okay.
The advantage that some of them have, Cooler Master makes one that actually has like a little cup, so you actually can lay your laptop inside it, and then it provides a little protective shell.
Oh, okay.
So that's a little bit more handy, and it's raised up so that it makes it a little more convenient, ergonomic for typing on. For cooling factor, it does help, but most laptops handle their cooling on their own. And if they're not, the reason is because they're full of dust.
Okay.
And if they're full of dust, it doesn't matter how much the fan spins inside, it's not actually transferring the heat out of the case. Having the cooling pad isn't going to help that by much.
Okay.
Because you still have the same situation.
I see. Because I know I've had sometimes where I will put my laptop on my lap, which by name you would expect to be fine, and to maybe get a little burned there.
Yes, some of them used to have warnings on them.
So I need to undust my insides.
Yes.
Okay.
Which you can do with a can of air, like the compressed gas for about $8. Generally, there's the exhaust, and then there's an intake, which is often on the bottom or on the side. But blow into it. You have to try to move the dust that's built up into the case for it to come back out, because it's already built a little wall.
Okay.
So if you just spray it in where the fan is,
Not going to do anything.
it's just going to be pushing against it again. You have to kind of dislodge it a bit first.
Cool.
So there's a little bit of
Give that
playing
a
around.
try. Okay. So is it okay to like put your laptop like on your lap? Like that's fine, right?
On your lap,
On like your bed.
bed is much worse.
Bed is bad?
Bed is bad.
Okay.
Beds are bad for the main reason that you have cushions, you have blankets, you have stuff on it.
dusty
It
things.
comes up around it, and they just can't breathe.
Right.
So modern laptops tend not to get as hot as the older ones do, but you could cook an old laptop in no time by doing it.
Okay, that's good to know. The other thing I'd ask about is I know you can get like protectors for like your keys and the sleeves and stuff. How effective are those things?
For the keys, not really. Well, they're very, very effective. Nobody uses them. Right? Because they're annoying. Right? If you're actually typing on the machine, they interfere with your typing.
Okay,
Right? So they do work, but they're annoying to
but
use.
they're a pain to
Yeah.
deal with. Okay. Okay, so my next question would be, is there any way, so when you're at school using your laptop, sometimes I'm watching like really embarrassing reality television that I don't want people to know that I'm watching, like Real Housewives. Is there a way to make your laptop screen more private? Is there something you can do
Yep.
there?
They use them at banks.
Okay.
And all it is a thin sheet of plastic that's gradiated, and they're just called privacy screens.
Okay.
They're usually between $50 and $80 would be about a ballpark range for them.
Okay.
But for a standard like 15-inch laptop screen, they're usually in that $70, $80 range.
Okay, that's not too bad.
And they're pretty much perfectly fine when you're looking at it straight on.
Yeah.
But if you deviate a little
You're
bit, they
good.
just go black.
I'm willing to spend $70 to protect my pride and not let people know what I'm watching on television. Okay, so my next question is something that I think a lot of people don't really understand or don't know too much about, and there's like all these different things. So I'm gonna ask you, a professional, how do you keep the battery of your laptop from going south fast? Like, there's all these rumors, do you plug it in, or you don't plug it in, or you charge it only this much, or you let the battery die? Like, what is the right answer?
The right answer is nowadays there's no really good answer.
Oh, of course.
Basically what it is in the older days, when you bought a laptop, the batteries, particularly like the old nickel metal hydrides or the NiCad batteries, they did have memories.
Okay.
So if you only did a half charge on them and did that a few times, they might only want to charge to that point after that. So the recommendation was always charge them full, run them out, charge them up. Lithium ions pretty much eliminated that. And it doesn't seem to matter for most people what they do with the batteries. If you take the battery right out, if you leave it in the machine, if you charge it on and off, like if you burn it out and then charge it up to full again, most batteries last about 3 years.
No matter what.
It doesn't seem to matter a whole lot.
Okay.
You might get 4, you might get 5, but you're probably not going to get much more than that.
Okay.
The other good news is they don't cost as much as they used to. It used to be that buying a laptop battery was a $300 endeavor. Most of them are between $50 and $100.
And can you replace PC laptops. Can you replace MacBook
Battery?
laptop batteries as
Yep.
well?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it kind of depends a little bit on the MacBook, but they are all still replaceable. On most MacBook Pros, the batteries are easily removable.
Okay.
On the Airs and stuff, it's much more of a...
Because I know I have a Pro, but you can't like take it off the back, but it's a newer one, so maybe they
Yeah,
decided to make you buy a new one as
They-
opposed to change the battery.
Apple got in a lot of trouble for this actually a short while ago because they hard glued all the batteries into their machines.
Oh.
And then the EPA was going to revoke their green certification for them, so they had to back off on that.
Okay, good to know. Cool. So, big question. I'm going out, starting school, so excited. Got to write a paper. which laptop would you recommend to me when I walk in the door?
It becomes a really big financial question.
I have $1,500 to work with.
Oh,
I think that sounds reasonable.
That's-
Let's say 1,000. Let's say 1,000.
That's still a ton of money.
Oh, okay. Let's say 500.
For example, you can buy new laptops starting at not much more than $300.
Right. Then I know there's the notebook ones. Are
No,
a
the
little
netbooks
bit-
you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking like full.
Like a full bore,
okay.
15-inch laptop.
Oh, really?
You know, Asus or Asus sells them starting in the $329.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the nice thing about that company in particular, on their not on their $300 ones, but on their usually about the $500 line of
Yep.
laptops, they offer a 2-year warranty.
Oh, nice.
And the first year, they include something called an accidental warranty, which means that as a student, you take it to school, somebody pours a drink into it, they'll fix it,
Nice.
as opposed to you just throwing it in the garbage.
So that would definitely be a good company to.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other companies? I think that's probably a better way to approach it. Which sort of brands of laptop would you recommend people look to versus avoid, perhaps?
It's kind of a tricky question because
Okay.
all of them have, virtually all laptops, no matter what the brand is, come with a 1-year warranty.
Okay.
And Acers tend to be cheap. Asus, some of the Dell, like Alienwares and stuff like that, are obviously much more expensive, but they all still come with a 1-year warranty.
Okay.
So if you take a $2,000 MacBook Pro and pour a glass of milk on it, it's dead.
Yes, it is.
And that is the end. There's going to be, the cost to fix it is going to be more than the machine is worth. The only real advantage the only thing is with the Asus laptops is you do actually get a mulligan. You get one do-over.
You get that one do-over. Cool. So I think the best recommendation would be if you're looking for a laptop, come into Brilliance Computer Technologies. Ask for Mark and he can help you out.
That
Yeah?
always works. of
That
course.
always works. Cool. So thank you so much. I learned some things, mostly about batteries, because I don't know anything about whether or not you should charge it, and now I know that
They've
I'm
gone
good to
very
go.
mysterious.
I'm
is what they
good.
have.
They're a little sneaky. So where can our viewers find you guys?
We're at www.brillcom.com online. We're on Facebook and Twitter. And in the real world, we're at 3700 Kemp Road in Halifax.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mark.
Thank you.
That wraps up this episode of TechUp. Make sure you leave your comments and thoughts on Facebook and Twitter. Let us know what you think and suggest some apps for us to review in our recap. I'm Sarah Ingram, and we'll see you next time.